This is day 176 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be highly, highly appreciated. Today we're still in Kim Simukov Chavches, and today we're doing Sif Mem Zayin through Sif Nun Gimel. So, without any further ado, the Arukh HaShulchan is talking about the Rambam. And the Rambam was talking about children being nosei kapayim, and which children can, which children can't. Here in in Simon Mem Zayin, he writes, "The Rambam is tzorchim." What the Rambam holds is difficult to understand. Shekosa Perek Tes Vav, he writes in the 15th Perek Din Daled, the fourth halacha. Hashani Ketza. How does it work with ears? Kohen Nar lo yisas kappa v'yishmalis kono. A child, a Kohen is a child, should not do until he has a full beard. It seems quite clear that before that he doesn't do at all. Because he enumerated this among all the psulim. The Tur also wrote the same thing with Zeloshana. A child or even an adult, does not have a full beard. The Torah concludes the same. That's only if he's alone. But if he's with others, once he knows how to duchen, he may duchen together with them. If he said farish hach chulin, therefore he's going to say that which it says in chulin that the katan eno nose is kapov, the Kshulavado, when he's by himself, Megillah, which we saw yesterday. Those two places they're talking about where the cotton is on his own. Bach the Sukkah, where the cotton does duchen, is imachem, is with others. Megillah, you can't ask on the case in the Megillah or the halacha Megillah. Why mention a katan? Afilu gadol nami kosher ismali is gano. Even a gadol who doesn't have a full beard cannot do chaduvare kenu. That's true. Megillah mare bedin nesias kapayim, but there Megillah the sugi is not a sugi of nesias kapayim. It's good by the Chashulchan, but rather it is a bedin katan. The sugi is not talking about nesias kapayim, but it's a bedin katan. Therefore, it's not. Even though gadol taka would not be able to. So it was not in this Mali's corner, but that's not the topic of conversation there. The among the name of Cotton. I have a Rambam kosher, but the Rambam is difficult because the Rambam seems to say in Perek Tes Vav that a Kohen can't be a Kohen who's a child cannot be nosei kapov at all. But it seems that. It seems that the Rambam is contradicting the Gemara in Sukkah, which says that with Gedol, according to at least we've understood, who says that together with Gedolim, the cousin can be Noisius Kapov. That Gemara in Sukkah seems to be not a parameter according to the Rambam. That's the wrong word. Not a parameter, not a factor. Not a factor according to the Rambam. So that says about Rambam kosher. Those who say that the Rambam also holds differences between the cotton going solo or as part of a group. This is astonishing. Why did you not mention it? Those who say the Rambam Pirush Hach the Sukkah, the Rak im Yodeh Lifros Kapav Chokin Lo Truma. That the pshat is not. This is a bit doichak. It's like the first answers from the Beis Yosef. Okay, in which Arukh HaShulchan said that it was doichak, that he didn't, even though he didn't mention it, he really meant to say it. But the second chiluk is when Lech Mishnah is even more extraordinary. He says that a cutting of the shivas kapov doesn't mean he can duchen. He knows how to duchen. Once he knows how to duchen, you can give him trumas and maisros because he knows how to keep them properly. But if he doesn't know how to duchen, regardless of the fact that he can't duchen anyway, so then you don't give him trumas and maisros. Okay? No matter what, he can't duchen. Arukh HaShulchan says this is even more dachuk. This is all for naught. Because Rambam Hayosolo Girsa Cheres, Rambam Girsa Besukkah, Kambur Midvarav Pesot Pergil Beis the Trumos. And because he says elsewhere, Beis the Trumos Chalocha Beis the Chashim Ben Asarash and Chokim Lem Truma. Among the 10 kids, the 10 people who can't be distributed truma in the silo are katan she'en yodeh lishmor chuko, a katan who doesn't know how to preserve his law. According to this Gersa, is not going to see his kapayim at all. He doesn't know how to conduct himself in an adult way. So, Kesef Mission wanted to say that his the Rambam's other Girsa means actually that he's not able to be Nosei Kapayim, but that would just bring the question back. So therefore, it's much better to understand the Rambam that he in fact held a different Girsa Gemara in Sukkah, which said that the Kohen who is a Katan who doesn't know Lishmor Chuko can't get Truma, and to do the Siyas Kapayim anyway he can't do it till he's a Gadol. There is therefore no makor for a katan doing Siyas Kapayim even with a group of Gdolim. And Arukh HaShulchan ends that the Kesef Mishnah is a davar tamuahu. Memches, mainly tomorrow, you can't be astonished. Mainly Shitas Rambam, the Ksholis Baal is going to annually so he cut off with Ram Moses when his fear is not fully can duchan. Mainly Shitas Hatzur de Olavado, or according to Tur holds that he doesn't go up on his own. Or Bainlat places a rush. They know Yachol Betmidus Lalos Duchan Labado. He can't go consistently to the duchan by himself. Avim ein acher butler Nasias Kapayim, and there's nobody else around, so Nasias Kapayim will have to be negated. Looking back at the Tosis and the Rosh, in the previous sif, they say Katan Shlebi Shteisos Ein Nosei Kapov Klauk Shulavado Kamacherim Nosei Kapov. That and so you can do with others. That's the halach in Sukkah Megillah. Only when a v shtei sa'aros yochli sakapov kamu shulavado achzeu bakroi. Avaloli sakapov bakvius elinkin ismalis karo. So according to the Russian, the places there are three levels. A katan who's a according to mamash katan only does with other people. A Kohen has two soros, which means he's a gadol, so he can duchen by himself, but not on a consistent basis, not a constant, I should say, basis. The katan who is nismalis kono already has a full set of hair, so that for him, yes, he can duchen by himself all the time on a regular basis. Okay, so the back to Memchai. So Ben places a rush and midus lalos duchen about he can't go constantly up to duchen himself. In ein acher, and there's nobody else there. But when Siyas Kapayim, you have no choice but to cancel Siyas Kapayim. Minol Chazal Lomar Kain. Why would Chazal say such a thing? Once you have two hairs, you already chayv in all the mitzvahs. So he says the nearly. That's not a question. The nearly the Alfina. We learned this out. The king of see Taber Aaron the Abonav Kota Baruchu speak down to his kids, and thus you should bless the Goymer. Found about him the Smalus Kanam, and Aaron's kids already were fully grown with full hair. Okay, we can turn a put to the garment Kavishita Sa Rambam. Therefore, anybody without full hair, going to Rambam is exempt altogether. The Turk Sheshimam Acherim Halochavachem. According to the tour, when the other people are present, so the Chiv is on the others. So that's the fact that he duchas with them is not an issue. The Shita Satais of Rosh, Lomadamila Aravanav, and according to the Tosis in the Rosh, we don't make a parallel. Tara and his kids, Raki Maya, Tmidus Karanabanim. In other words, he has to be always like Aaron, he has to be like Aaron above in order to be able to constantly do Birkas Kohen. Arukh HaShulchan says in brackets, Kenir Lenius Daiti. This is my opinion. Why does the Torah bring the distinction between occasional and constant? Because he was in Germany. and he's in Medina's Ashkenaz. By definition, every time they do duchen, it's bakroy because we don't do it every day. With Dvarav Tmurim, but the Arukh HaShulchan doesn't like that. The Adim Nei Zeh Ein LaTur L'Chtov L'man Asfarim. Tur lived in Spain. He should write for the. Oh, he's about to say that. Should the Tur not write for the Sfarim? Vote furthermore, because over Ein Okain. Besides that, it's not the case that the Tur wrote his chibur in Ashkenaz, because we know as a fact, Ashari Rosh Barach L'Sfaradim Komonav Kayadua. It's a historical note here. The Rosh fled after the Maram in Rutenberg was taken prisoner. He fled to Spain with all his children, and the Tur was composed in Spain. Therefore, the Ikar Khalil is what he wrote. The Tur doesn't draw such a distinction. Like we said, that it's it's special din which is learned out from Aaron Uvanav, and therefore doesn't like the distinction because it's anything under the Smalas Kano is not Mikra Din Chayev in Birkas Kohanim. It can only duchen with other people because they're Mekayim Likra Birkas Kohanim. The Megillah lav dafka katan, and in the Megillah, like we said, it's not dafka katan who can't duchen. Why is it you stay at katan there? Again, the Meir Sham Mila katan there. It's talking about a sugi which is all about katanim. Chekas have a lechem mishnayim sham. Though the array of Tur lo yizkir klar minag zeh, the Tur not mention this minag at all about kroy v'duk, and understand that carefully. Memtes ufi zeh ani omer. Therefore I say. Says Arukh HaShulchan. Of a state of Bali Shulchan of Simon Zeh. Now which they wrote Kohen Afilishu Panui, no says Kapov, a Kohen, even though he's a bachelor, he duchans. Yeshin they don't know say Kapov. Some people say doesn't duchan. Dashuriblo Isha, because somebody who is without a wife, Shuriblo Simcha is bereft of Simcha. Vamvarach Yeshlo is with Simcha, and the person gives a bracha should be in Simcha. The real Zebishem Azor Parshas Noso, Peraya Mehemla, but it's in the Zor, but Zeloshon Azor. Mishum delays Shechina Sharia, the Shechina does not rest, but Madlo Insib with somebody who does not marry. Kinkach Kasi Daber Aromu Bana Bechule, Ad Kan Lashona. So I guess our Banav these were the married sons, as opposed to another Banaviu. Says Arukh HaShulchan, this seems to be astonishing words. It's a mitzvah, the Raisa, mitzvah say the plus. Why would it only be for the married Kohanim, not for bachelor Kohanim? The only time we ever find a Kohen not being allowed to avoid if he has no wife is for the Kohen Gadol Yom Kippur. It says, so. But according to what we said, no, there's a special limud from Nismale's Kono, which came from Daber Aaron Velbanov, and the same limud Daber Aaron Velbanov will teach us they have to be married because Aaron and his kids were married. They have to be like Aaron and his kids to have wives. So Simcha from this. The receive Vayar Kol Ha'am Vayaronu. Interesting. It's even shocking there. Vayaronu. Rashi says that they were afraid, but they were davening. But the Arukh HaShulchan says Kipshuto that they were besimcha. They were Reno Tefillah. Reno, Reno is one of the terms of Simcha. And this is why we only do Chana Yotav b'chutz la'aretz. There's Azuz Man Simcha, which is time Simcha Mishing L'Seif Kol Tavarchu. Azoi Vi Aaron Rabbanov, just like they made the Baruch Seif Simcha, we don't do me the Aaron Rabbanov. Both Sem Shinos Kapeim B'Shmini L'Miluim. We have to be like Aaron and his kids on that day, the 8th day Miluim. Shows a Simcha Shlema, which had perfect Simcha. I always had a problem with this because of Tainis Tzibur, because on Tainis Tzibur would be extra duchening. That's why you say okay, by mincha on a Tainis Tzibur. So we clear that there's not a time simcha. Why would there be extra duchening? Okay, but I guess it's a special din and a Tainis. Perhaps you'll say it later on. I don't know. But special din at Tainus, you should get a bracha from the Kohanim because they somehow that bracha is good for Am Yisrael's spirituality, which they're trying to enhance on a Tainus. It's just a suggestion. Nun, b'dash ha'mashkos Rabbeinu Beis Yosef Katan Shalo Yibish Shtei Saros Einon Nosi Kapav. That was the Beis Yosef price. That a Katan who was not has not brought 2 hairs doesn't duchen. Kasachon Farshich Shulchan Magen Abraham writes about this as Zel Shoynai. Mashma Afilu Ben Yud Gimel also. It sounds like even if he's 13, it's forbidden as long as he hasn't brought 2 hairs. So you have to be meticulous about this, so you shouldn't come to a bracha batala. Ad kan l'shano. It sounds from this that we don't rely on the age like we do by other din. To learn in chazaka should be simanim. We don't say don't make the assumption that he brought simanim already. Futem is astonishing. My bracha batala ika. Why is it bracha batala? Filu katan. He says kapav mishar konim chavras v'mercha katan. Once we know, according to Shulchan Aruch, that the katan can make the bracha with other kohanim. So then, how could it possibly be a bracha batala? Well, the Dasa Taisis, Emer bracha batala, rak is the Rabbanan. For the more Taisis holds it's not the Raisa, it's not Lo Sisa. Bracha batala is the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan is something a chazaka shay b'simanim, and the Rabbanan we certainly rely on the chazaka that a 13-year-old has simanim. L'chein eika l'dina. Therefore, the Arukh HaShulchan does not paskin like the Beis Yosef in this respect. Says the Sheba l'shnasi gimel yom echad. Once he reaches 13 in one day, meaning at the completion of his 13th year of life, we treat him like an adult in terms of duchening. Ellen Kane bistoma, if we don't have any additional information. Okay, down the favor unless we know explicitly or actually with clarity, should be somebody that hasn't yet had 2 hairs. He brings here in. Brings it down. This is from the Elio Rappa, and in the brackets here it says Machzis Shekel is nitchak to say Pshat Magen Avram, but it doesn't sound like that. Bring Begonim also didn't interpret the Magen Avram like the Machzis Shekel. Lodina Iker Kamosha Kosav Elio Rabba Veduk. Elio Rabba's the Iker Halacha that once he is 13 and a day, so in terms of Siyas Kapayim, he is also considered to be an adult. Nunav, Kosav Rambam Perktes Vav Din Vav. Kohen Shaloya Lo Dovar Mikol El Dvorim Hamonim L'Siyas Kapayim. Kohen did not have any of the things which require him to refrain from duchening. Aval B'Shein Chacham, even though he's not too smart. Beinim Dakti Mitzvahs, and he's not meticulous mitzvah observance. Ashu Brios Merani Machrav, or people. This is use of Reno, which is not a positive one. Or people were saying tales about him, or maybe singing their gossip. Or he was not an honest businessman. Nevertheless, he don't deny him of that. This is a mitzvah upon him. If he's worthy to, if he's permitted to a duchan, and we Adam Russia, we don't tell a wicked person, Jose Fresha. Do more evil. And refrain from doing mitzvahs. Don't be astonished and say, what is the bracha of this commoner, to say the least, going to be significant, and what effect will it have? Because the receiving of the bracha by the congregation is not contingent on the Kohanim. It's contingent on Hashem. The Kohanim put my name on Bnei Yisrael, V'ani avarchem. I'll give the bracha. Kohanim osim mitzvosam. The Kohanim do their mitzvah, sheistavu ba, which they're commanded to do, because Baruch Hu baracham ba. Hashem in His mercy, Mevorach Yisrael chefto, He blesses Am Yisrael as His desire. Kan l'shono. V'zek Rabbi Kiva v'chulin. Rabbi Kiva says, V'ani avadani avarchem. I will bless them. Kayel Yisrael, Shakadosh Baruch Hu mevarcham, ayin sham. That's going on the Yisrael, because we had an issue before. It's called Vani Avrachem. Is that going on the Yisraelim? Hashem, the Kohanim make the bracha, and Hashem bestows the bracha on the Yisraelim. That's going on the Kohanim. Kohanim bench the Yisraelim, and Hashem benches the Kohanim. So he's going with the assumption that Vani Avrachem is going on Klal Yisrael, and through the Kohanim, who are a spigot. The bracha goes to Yisrael, but it's through them. And therefore, even if they're not good people necessarily, the bracha can still take effect. More than this says Yerushalmi. Don't say that person is a licentious person and a murderous person. He's going to give us a bracha. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, who's going to give me the bracha? Haim lo ani mevarchecha. If it's not me who's giving the bracha, Shneimar v'soma v'chulei. So therefore, the Kohen, who is even not such a great person, he should not be curtailed from giving the bracha. The base of a Ramam Shami Kohen Kosav, but the Ram brings down before that the Kohen Shargas HaNefesh, a Kohen who killed Afal Pisha Asa Tshuva, even though the Tshuva lo yisas kapal, he should not do it. Shenamar, it says, Yedechem damim mileu, your hands were full of blood. Therefore, when you extend out there your hands, alim einayim mikem, I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to avert my eyes. Came a Kohen who served Avodah Zarah, ben bezada ben mishkara, whether deliberately or unintentionally, ben bonus was compelled. Ava b'shas tshuva, even though he did tshuva, and also skapa of the olam, he never goes back to duchen. Shneimar lo yalu koneh bamos. Pasuk Melachim base. Chav Gimel, Kohanim who served at the bamos, at the backyard altars, should not go up then again to serve in the Beis Hamikdash. Ubracha kavoidahi, and bracha is like service. Shemar says, L'shor sover ech b'shmo, to serve him and to give blessings in his name. And so too, a Kohen who converted to Avodah Zarah, even though he did tshuva, ain't no says kapov yolam, he never duchans. Shara Averis ain't monim, only other Averis, we don't curtail him from going up. The Mishnah Berurah writes that if Kohen caused a miscarriage, then he can still do chon, even if we know that the baby was at term. He also writes that if a Kohen served Avodah Zarah, not served Avodah Zarah. If a person killed Ones, which is compelled, it was not his fault, just happened. There are two shitos, and he's not sure how to paskin. Okay, in any event, going back to the Arukh HaShulchan, that case of somebody who killed will be brachas. That's case that says that's a war on brachas. And the case of serving idolatry, ushilim menachos, and that which it says if he killed somebody, he can't duchan. So said Yerushalmi, and then Yerushalmi holds you can. Pasuk is shas dilon, and the pasuk is like our shas that he cannot. The issue shown those who said Yerushalmi ma'irak bechashad shvichus dami. Shlomo would say about only what he's suspected of having killed, not where it's we know that he killed. And then Rashi pasak sheshav yochal lo seduchan. But Rashi pasuk in any event that if he does tshuva, he can go up to the duchan. Kasar bein Rav Sif Lam Ches Sheish Lahakel Al Bali Tshuva. We should be leaning with Bali Tshuva. Shelo Tino Del Lo Tino Del's Bifneim, not to lock the door in front of them. V'hachi Nahuk, and this is the chumrah. This is the minute. Even by a Kohen who killed. The Shabura says something about Machmer, at least where he killed B'mezid. First degree murderer, that doesn't, you don't get to duchen. But he says, Sorchin Ladina, it's not sure about that. And even that first degree murderer, if he went up to the duchen, don't make him go down. I'm assuming that that's specifically, we're going to the Ramah where he did tshuva. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, somebody who converted out of Judaism, Rachmana Litzlan. So those who say the Yeshua Shim also tshuva no se kappa. If he did tshuva, he can be duchan v'chen ikar, and that is the ikar halacha. The Mishnah Berurah says he's not sure if the Mechaber holds that also if he killed, tshuva works or not. In any event, the Chen Kosav back to Shulchan, the Chen Kosav the Nanas the Dibra Komuta se kappa is compelled to kill. Then everybody agrees he can do it. The Tema, So it's astonishing. The Hidla Pasaka Rambam. It basically doesn't pass in like the Rambam. But I say everybody agrees that it's mutter. If we do tshuva of our Rambam, or say the Rambam forbids it. The Mishnah Berurah wants to resolve that question by saying that in Mechaber is talking about where he didn't do a Maisa. As Rambam is saying, where he did a Maisa to kill somebody, then it's also but it says that where he didn't do a Maisa, it's difficult to say that. But it brings down that the Berek Habayis Nidchak B'zeh. No, but that's the end of that topic. Going on to a, well, actually not the end. We're going on to another variation on the theme. Nun Gimel, Malti Nokum Mace. Somebody was a male and he maled the kid and the kid died. No says kappa, he could still do it. Should keep on a mitzvah because he might do a mitzvah. Maybe the kid would have died anyway. Or maybe it was a miscarriage. Or maybe some external factor like the atmosphere, the wind literally caused the death, confused the kid, so to speak, and caused the death. Matinas Svaras begin. We find such a Svarim says Kitanli and Golos. Shag Bishogeg below Mace, the Yad. His son he killed Bishogeg unintentionally. And the guy did not die immediately. Ayin Sham. That we say maybe he died because of other factors, and therefore the Kohen does not have to go into the person who killed him was considered to be Shogeg and no, he's not even Rotzech B'Shogeg. He doesn't have to go Golos because he's not a Rotzech. And so too people are gossiping about a person that he's a murderer, came below his bar davar, since it's not clarified, mutter lo lisas kappa is allowed to do it. Who if he knows himself, she'emes who came who sheshafach damim that he actually did murder, lo lisas kappa he shouldn't do it. But the person did tshuva, yesh lo hakel, he can be lenient. Sholi no delis in order not to lock the door. K'moshe kasabnu. V'orel shemesu echa machmas mila, a Kohen who's uncircumcised because his brothers died on account of bris milah, and therefore he's wasn't given a bris milah. Yeshin sheposel l'nesias kapayim k'mo la'avodas karbanos. Just like an orel cannot serve the base of mikdash, he can't give the brachos. That's the bach. Yeshin shekosher. Everyone says it's kosher. The lavchom liyiskash is not a complete comparison between bracha and avodah. Fulaf orel b'mezi kosher. And maybe, just like we said, unsavory characters are okay in other areas, maybe the unsavory character who deliberately didn't get a bris milah also is allowed to do it. Shara averos makvos. Other averos besides shpichus damim are not an impediment. Milamaisa kosher hakel. In practice, it's difficult to be lenient. The air that is gomer avodah because it does seem that it's complete parallel to avodah, and if an avodah cannot serve, so too in Birkas Kohanim. And many Kohanim wrote that way the Taz, the Rabbah, and the Knesset Gedolah.